Okay, welcome back to another episode, 3rd and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to talk Monday wildcard weekend, quote unquote weekend, playoff games. Been a rough go Saturday and Sunday. It's been a perfect example of why I only do games that I feel confident in, because the only game that I got right, as I told you guys, was the only game that I had the utmost confidence in, and that was Chiefs covering that 4.5. But I told you guys I was gonna do every playoff game because it's NFL playoffs, so why not, right? But like I say, I give you guys kind of like what I think as far as what kind of high stakes, low stakes, and so forth. What I think about the game. So quick talk about like the Cowboys game. I laid the 7 and they got bombed on, and guess I should have saw that coming. That's what the Cowboys do. They get to the playoffs, they don't give the kind of effort they give during the regular season. There's no excuse to lose to a 7 seed when you're probably better than them at every single position on the field except maybe running back. And I told you guys, Packers will score some. I said Aaron Jones in running game is going to get going. But you're the number one scoring team in the league, and you're playing at home where you won 16 in a row. You think the Cowboys are going to score a lot more points. Now, they ended up getting 32. The final score, they lost 48-32, but there was some garbage time working there. That didn't look like the Cowboys' offense, and I guess you could say they did Cowboy things. Next game, I told you guys, Rams Lions, I wouldn't even touch that. I wouldn't touch it. I gave my pick in the game to give one, but I wouldn't touch that game. That game was tough to call. I took Lions and laid the 3. I thought their pass rush would be the difference in what I thought was going to be a very, very tight game. And I guess I should have took the Rams with the 3 points, considering I thought it was going to be a tight game. But that ultimately ended up being the difference. That Lions pass rush was just enough to be able to kind of, you could say, foil that last Rams drive and to give the Lions the lead. Or I'm sorry, give the Lions the win to win the game 24-23. So the Lions did win. I thought they would, but they did not cover that spread. So that's what puts us at 1-3 so far. So not going well, especially now with comparison how I did in the regular season. But back in the regular season, I will pick and choose, right? Anyways, let's get into it. Steelers visiting the Bills. This game that was supposed to be played on Sunday, or I'm sorry, on Sunday, but it ended up getting moved because of weather reasons to Monday. This game opened as the Bills as a 9.5-point favorite. It has since moved to 10. The Bills, it makes sense. The Bills are a much stronger team than the Steelers. When you look at the Steelers, their matchup, their passing game against the Bills' pass defense, Bills have had one of the best pass defenses in the league this season. And now you're going against Mason Rudolph in that Steelers passing game that's not very strong. Now, I'm going to give it to Mason Rudolph. He's picked when he got inserted into the lineup, the Steelers passing game definitely picked up with in fact, the entire offense actually picked up when he got into the lineup. So I will give them credit for that. But I'm not going to say this is a very strong, explosive passing game. And you look at the Steelers running game. Now, the Steelers can't run the ball, and the Bills do have a weakness on defense, is definitely on the ground. You can run the ball against Buffalo. A lot of teams have had success against the Bills this year running the ball. But I'll say lately the Bills' run defense has been a little tougher against the run in the final weeks of the season. When you're looking at the Bills' offense, you already know Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, James Cook's really come along. Explosive offense. They have a significant advantage against the Steelers' defense, particularly with T.J. Watt out of the game. I don't think Josh Allen is going to be under as much pressure as he would have been with Watt in the game. Uh, quietly, you guys don't know this, but Stephon Diggs has been really, really quiet this season for like the last, I'd say, almost 2 months of the season. He's been really quiet. So this would be seemingly a perfect game for him to bust out in when the Steelers aren't really strong against the pass and TJ Watt's not in the game, giving Josh Allen a little more time to find him downfield. I'll say this: Gabe Davis is out for this game, so it's going to be all Stephon Diggs. So he's really gonna have to show out in this game. Um, Run defense, Steelers aren't that strong against the run, and they've been banged up this year as well in their front seven. James Cook should have himself a really good game as he's part of his breakout year. So when you look at this game and you say, man, 10 points, the Bills are better than the Steelers every which way you look at it, right? I'm going to point some things out for you guys, though. All right. I had this pulled up. Let me pull this back up. All right. The Bills this season, 10-point favorite against what I consider a bad team. You guys will say, man, they're in the playoffs. Man, in the playoffs because you got 7 teams in the playoffs. That's the reason why the Steelers are in the playoffs. I don't consider them a good team. Now, let's look at what the Bills have done against bad teams. Opened the year against the Jets and lost by 6, right? Lost to the Patriots by 4. Beat the Giants by 5. Lost to the Broncos by 2. Beat the Chargers and Easton Stick. Beat the Chargers and Easton Stick by 2. And then beat the Patriots by 6. This is not a team that you look at them and you say, oh, well, they're washing these bad teams. There's some up with Buffalo where, as good as they are, they play to the level of their competition. Because of that, and again, this is not a game that I'm putting a lot of, barely any kind of dollars on, all right? Not a lot of stock in this. If this was a regular season game, wouldn't even touch it. But I'm going to take the Steelers with the 10 because of the simple fact that the Bills have a weakness on the ground and they seem to play to the level of their competition. They have not whipped bad teams as you think their talent level should. So, taking Steelers plus 10, moving on to the Eagles at the Bucks. This opened as Philly as a 2.5-point favorite. It's since gone to 3. So I think a lot of people thinking the Eagles are going to bounce back. But if you remember in the regular season, if you've been following the spreads of the Eagles games, they've been predicted to bounce back a lot of times and haven't been able to cover, haven't played well. And the Eagles have been really faded down the stretch. Their offense has been just not working, I guess you could say, down the stretch of the season. And a lot of people are thinking, okay, well, this is the game that I guess everyone every week thinks, okay, then now they'll turn it around. Now we're in the playoffs. Can the Eagles turn it around? Look at this passing offense. I think it matches. I think it's an even matchup with the Bucks pass defense. And I know the Bucks have a bad pass defense, but now A.J. Brown has been ruled out for this game. So it's Devontae Smith, who's not 100% either, but he's playing. It's going to be Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert against this Bucks pass defense on the road with an Eagles passing offense that has not been very crisp lately. And now their biggest weapon, an all-pro caliber wide receiver, and A.J. Brown is out. That's a tough loss. Eagles running game. These guys, this is a rematch from early in the season. I think in like week 2, and the Eagles ran for over 200 yards against the Bucks run defense. That's not going to happen in this game. The Bucks are when healthy, the Bucks have been pretty stout up front against the run. I think, and they're pretty healthy up front right now. I think the Bucks run defense matches up well with this Eagles rushing offense. So I don't see the Eagles going for 200 plus in this time around. So that Eagles offense, they're going to need to find something in the passing game, I think, because I think the Bucks are going to stack the line against these guys, and they're going to force Jalen Hurts in that struggling passing game to find Devontae Smith. And that's going to be how the Eagles are going to have to be able to move the ball to win this game. On the other side, I talked about it so much on here so you guys know, but I think the Eagles' pass defense has been awful this season. They've been awful for the majority of the year. Now you're going against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and these guys. Major advantage for the Bucks passing game. The only reason I don't put more of an advantage for the Bucks passing game is you have Baker Mayfield, who's a limited quarterback, physical talent. He's a limited quarterback, and he's also banged up. So I think it's going to be I don't see the Eagles getting barbecued as usual, but Baker should be able to move the ball through the air against these guys, as everybody has been able to do that. And you go with the running game. the Eagles don't have a strong run defense, but the Buccaneers don't really have a strong running offense. It's Rashad White or bust, and sometimes they don't really use him enough, in my opinion. They'll throw it to him out of the backfield, but as far as running the ball, I don't know if the Buccaneers' running game is going to really get going in this game. So, how do I think this game is going to pan out? Right? I told you guys, I gave you guys like a sneak peek. This is a game that I think you got to be crazy if you would bet this game. You got an Eagles team that is definitely more talented than the Bucks, right? But they have underachieved so much down the stretch. I mean, they're just fading so hard. It's like they're ready to get put out of their misery. And you got the Bucks at home, but they had to beat Carolina to get in here. They won that game 9-0. They didn't look good against the worst team in the NFL. So what are you going to get out of this game? Are the Eagles going to finally bounce back, or are the Buccaneers going to put them out of misery? I don't. This is a game I wouldn't touch, but to give a pick, I would take Tampa Bay with the 3 because I think the Eagles, as much as they're fading, I do believe without AJ Brown, I think it's going to be a struggle for them to move the ball in this game against a stout run defense with Tampa Bay, and it's just going to be Jalen Hurts to Devontae. Can they get that going? I like the Bucks, but with the +3, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks won this game outright, and so I'm taking Tampa +3. But again, these are two games betting wise, low stakes if you're putting anything on it at all. But anyways, so that's my picks and predictions for this final two games of NFL Wildcard Weekend. You like the content, like, follow, subscribe, all of that, and you're gonna see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.